What does it mean to lead? Lead in good times, lead in bad times. This hour is about how many top-notch individuals show the way. This is Today's Leaders, brought to you by Get Assist with Angela Kokott on News Talk 770.
During our time featuring business leaders in Alberta, we have talked to successful men, women, husband-wife teams, parents going into business with their adult children, never siblings. Working together, after all, there's that whole thing about sibling rivalry. How can you get past that in a business venture? Our guests today have managed to do just that. Aaron and Zach Lister are brother and sister, but also the brains behind a unique communal office space, The Commons. I am pleased to welcome them to Today's Leaders. Hello, Aaron.
Hi.
And hello, Zach.
Thanks for having us.
I want to first of all just find out what The Commons is. Zach, I'll start with you. When people say to you, what's The Commons? What's your answer?
My quickest answer is if you work in a coffee shop or at home and are lonely and bored and in your pajamas at 3 p.m., we're the best solution to that problem.
Well,
So,
that's a good answer.
yeah.
But Aaron, I want a little bit more. So describe The Commons if I'm getting tired of working out of a coffee shop.
Right. So, we have about 100 members, all of them various stages of their own business. We've got lawyers, accountants, web designers, developers, all runs the gamut. And they all come to our space and work for themselves, but they're not by themselves. So they have a ton of different coworkers that they wouldn't necessarily meet in their line of business usually. One of the first things we did was put in a bar. People talk better over some coffee and then some cocktails after work. And that's probably the simplest explanation.
Do you know you guys have been in business for a few years now, and we're experiencing a downturn, a huge vacancy rate when it comes to commercial space in the downtown core. So what are you seeing in this time?
Actually, our business has gone up as of late because a lot of people are downsizing. So a lot of our clients, we have private offices as well. So a lot of people that are carrying, 2,000 square feet of their own office instead of, all that overhead, instead of, maybe having to let go of an employee, they come to a space like ours where they can, if they went to the home office, maybe their clients thought, oh, maybe these guys are going out of business. They go to a shared workspace. They have access to 13,000 square feet. They still have all the amenities of a normal office, but they've cut, their overhead's a fraction of the cost. So we're actually seeing an uptick on the number of members we have just because people are looking at what they're spending right now.
Let's go back to Aaron, because we will come back to The Commons more, but I wanted listeners to at least get an idea of the business minds and what the company actually is. So it's great. If you have a chance to watch this video later on, or if you are on Facebook, you actually get to see Aaron and Zach in all their glory. You guys are a couple of years apart, but you are almost like twins, as far as not
I don't know if
identical. Is that a compliment?
That's
Did
good.
she just insult me? No, but you are just, anyway, you're very adorable looking. And sorry to even say that, but I'm just saying you're close siblings. Aaron, you're just a couple of years older than Zach.
Right.
So in my introduction, when I was talking about sibling rivalry, I come from a family of 7, and we are all within a year and a half. I could not imagine going into business with any of my siblings. Why did you even think this was a good idea?
I'm not sure we ever
didn't.
thought this was a good idea. And our parents are the most shocked people in the world, I have to admit. And it's very funny how this relationship works because, Zach and I did not get along growing up. Our friends just think this is amazing that we do this. But it works really well. But the funny thing is we work really, really well together. But Sunday dinners, when we go home and we're with our parents, I can't stand him.
Yeah.
We're back to being 12 years old, and we just, I can hardly wait to get out of there. And then I call him on the phone and be like, okay, so tomorrow, blah, blah. It's very funny how it works.
I think it's because of the parents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that's it.
You're
Yeah.
always trying to prove yourself that you're the favorite child.
Yeah,
I think that's probably
that might be
the
it.
problem. So how do you describe the relationship then, Zach? The business
yeah,
relationship.
okay.
Let's try that one.
No, complete opposite skill set, and it complements each other really well. So Aaron's kind of the brains behind the business, the ideas, the generation, kind of even the back end of our admin and that sort of thing. And then I'm a little bit more of the front house, customer service, kind of generating some ideas around marketing and sales and things like that. So because we're so opposite, it's actually working fairly well. Now our staff, sometimes they've been in some meetings where they're like, maybe they're too opposite, but it's been fun to kind of, because we've never worked together before on anything. And so to kind of come together like this, our parents definitely thought there was going to be 2 Christmases and 2 Thanksgivings after doing this one. So there's a famous Lister story so I'd usually be going out to play, baseball or hockey or something like that. And Erin owned a ball, like one of those big balls.
I believe you're telling this story.
And she sat on this ball in front of her house, and she would just bounce on the ball and tell stories in her head. So this is my sister. I'd walk by and I'd be like, Erin, you want to? And she'd just be happy as can be, telling stories in her head. So I was just like, that's my sister bouncing on a ball. And I felt like there was red flags there for her parents to say, is this okay? But there wasn't, and she turned out
fine. I turned out fine.
And
I graduated in the end with a degree, I'm proud to say, in humanities, with a minor in publishing. Very useful. And I actually ended up going to Jamaica and lived there on and off for 10 years and worked in the nonprofit industry there. So not totally related, but I did a lot of, in the end, design work. And so I ended up doing an online course, came back here and got into graphic design and web design.
I started flipping houses. So a friend of mine, Ryan, and I started buying and selling. Ryan's a very talented handyman. I am not. So I was the guy that would tear it down and take everything to the dump, and he would put it back together. And so I saw when we'd flip these houses, real estate agents would come in and kind of sell them. And I thought, I think I could do that. So I went and got my license, and I did that for kind of 10 years. We ran a property management company and bought and sold. And then I got into the finance world in real estate. So we started financing real estate for kind of big builders in Western Canada. And kind of struggled with my health a bit. The stress of 2008 and 9 and the downturn kind of took its toll on me. And I decided to take a break and ended up traveling. I thought I'd go to Thailand for 2 weeks and maybe just kind of decompress without a cell phone. And I ended up staying a year. And I lived in a temple with monks for about 6 months and lived that lifestyle, and no cell phone, no running water, no bathroom or anything like that. And it was an interesting transition. And actually, Erin, when I went back to Bangkok one time, got a hold of me and said, I'm looking at buying this business and you should be a part of it. I was like, I'm all zen out. I'm fine. Life is good. I meditate,
Right.
And I actually came home for Christmas, and Erin kind of said, well, why don't you come to the office and see what it's like and see what you think? And I've never been able to leave since. So, yeah.
When I asked Zach to come, I just thought it'd be nice to have somebody else here who could answer some questions for people when they come in the door. But it was really there was only 10 desks. It wasn't a big space at that time. So yes, I asked Zach to come on board, but it really, I wasn't trying to manipulate him into.
She was.
She was.
Yeah.
But you must have also seen Zach's background, especially in whether it had been flipping houses, residential development. I mean, that does seem like a nice fit for you.
And his personality. He is great with people. He's great with people.
This? I don't get this very often. I like it. We're going to do this once a week.
Yeah, people love being around Zach. And in a space like this, you need somebody who's the glue, who people really want to chat with. And so, yeah, I think selfishly, that's probably one of the main reasons.
Erin, how many members did you say you have?
I think we're at 105 right now.
And Zach, how does that work then? Would I be a member for a year, or I only need an office space for a month? How does this work?
No long-term leases, so we're 30 days. So kind of we take the risk away. Any of those guys that are looking at commercial spaces right now, you're looking at a 5-year lease and personal guarantee and build out and all that stuff. So we do all that for you. So short-term leases. And we have all different types of memberships. So from drop-in, if you want to come 2 days a month, all the way up to, full-time private offices, things like that. So it kind of caters to what everyone needs.
Now, Erin, would this be just people who are working on their own, or myself and my girlfriend, we've got a small little company, but we don't have the office space. So is it also that idea as well?
Yeah, no, for sure. We have teams that use our private offices or our dedicated desks. And just people that are working for themselves. We also have remote workers, so people that might be here in Calgary and work for a company that's based out of Toronto, say, or something like that. So we have quite a few of those people. And we also find people meet each other in our space. So a few of the people that are now in our private offices were a team that met at the Commons as part-time members and kind of built their business together, and now they're working together now. They've got their own company.
Who came up with the idea of saying, well, let's expand, let's have more space, and let's get into event planning? I mean, to me, that's completely right brain, left brain.
Yeah, you might have hit on a sore point there. Because Zach was totally okay with just staying in the room that we had. And I'm the one who's like pushed for our first expansion was into the parlor room where the bar is, but like the event space, and then private offices. And I keep pushing for bigger. Our last space that we've got 3,000 square feet of event space. And we've been inundated with requests for all kinds of different types of events, weddings, social events, business events. And a couple of weeks ago, we had, just a tame family dinner, and we found somebody hanging from her projector. And Zach and I are having to go down there and get people out of the space, and he's just glaring at me.
Cursing.
He's like, "This is not what I signed up for," and I completely agree. We definitely are focusing more just on business events.
Right.
No matter what people say, we've learned a lot through the event business.
Zach, what did you learn from business failures?
Oh, I've had a few. I think for me, it's been to quickly recognize that it's not working and move on. You know, Erin and I have gone down a few paths that, you know, we think, oh, this is going to be the be all end all, and there's zero support. And if you get your ego attached to it, if you think that this is going to be the answer and the response isn't there, push harder. I think you have to know when to just cut it loose and say that didn't work and move on, because we've made a number of mistakes that even in our memberships or trying to do something out of the box when really, you know, kind of horse blinders on and stick to and focus on one goal is sometimes the best way. But to kind of admit that you're wrong and cut loose is probably hard.
I would add forgive yourself for it too. I have a hard time with that, like where it's just like, hey, this was my idea and I pushed this and it didn't work out, and it's just okay. We do need to move on, cut it, and forget, like move forward. Don't dwell on it.
And I think our parents are entrepreneurs, and they've been a big part of that. Like Erin said, Sunday dinner isn't necessarily Sunday dinner because business comes to the table. And for us to sound some ideas off them and get their feedback, it's been nice, because sometimes you get stuck in the weeds, and every little problem is a big problem. And to get some feedback from them, they're a big part of our team as well. And not everyone can say that their parents have kind of an intimate role in their business, but they are a big part of it. So
how have you found that changing? Do you think that's changed in Calgary at all, or do you still think we almost have to tell people we're busy to feel like it's our badge of honor?
We've seen it from the other perspective, in that we've seen a lot of people coming into our space that have been laid off, have been recently let go, have been given a package, and they're saying, now what? And so for them to answer that question, to say, I have nothing going on, is really,
it's hard.
It's
probably.
hard for them, you know. So, but what's different is we've recently had someone decide to leave their position, and within 2 months, they've opened up their own business. It's a food truck that's launching next month, and doing their passionate work. And now to ask them, maybe they're not as busy as they were before, but they're doing something exciting or doing something along, something that makes them be excited about what they're going to work every day about. So but I'm sure we're guilty of it too. I'm sure we say, like, if
really,
any of our guys are listening, they'll probably be like, they're running around, things like that. But at the same time, we have a challenge. Like, not many people have, work with 105 of their clients every day. So we're in the same space. And so we want to make sure that they're having a good experience. And so to put on, a very, put together, they see us at our worst too, which is kind of, we all good and bad. Yeah, absolutely. But to tell them that we're not busy, or, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
And really, having your own business, a lot of people think, wow, that would be great. I'd love to quit work, get a package, and have my own business. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well,
you are busy, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. One thing that always kind of irked me a little is this whole idea of work-life balance. That it was this big ideal that we're supposed to work towards. And as an entrepreneur, that doesn't happen. And in fact, I actually think it's detrimental to expect it to or want it. If you're living what you're passionate about, you're not, that's okay. I think in my worldview that you are working a lot more than, say, you know, just 9 to 5 and shut it down and that's it. There is no balance when you're an entrepreneur, but that's okay. The trouble comes, we were joking at the break, is when you work so much and this becomes your baby. Like this, it's not just a job. You're so invested, and that in itself, it doesn't matter if you want or need a break. You just need to keep going because failure's not an option.